Hi Stampers, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to video number 3 showcasing Sale-A-Bration 2017. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create these two cards that I actually cased from the Sale-A-Bration catalog. If you haven't seen my other two videos, I am trying to showcase all the products in the Sale-A-Bration catalog, so make sure you look for them. Sale-A-Bration runs from January 4th to March 31st. So today I am going to show you 3 products. The first one is the Avant Garden stamp set, and this is what the stamp set looks like. So we're going to be using this. And the 2 cards that I am showing you are the 2 right here. I actually changed just a couple colors on it. And some of the ribbon just so that I could show you some Sale-A-Bration items. We are also using the 3/8 inch metallic ribbon combo pack. The ribbon is just beautiful. It comes in silver and in gold. Don't know if you'll be able to see that. It's almost threaded through a silvery whitish color. And I'm going to be using both of these colors today, and that comes in a combo pack. So if you place an order for $50, you get to choose both of these ribbons as one item. And lastly, I'm going to show you the Carried Away designer paper. We're going to be using just a couple little strips from it, but let me show you what the paper looks like. And the paper actually coordinates well with a stamp set that's going to be available in the Occasions catalog that has balloons and also the coordinating die cuts. The die cuts are called Up and Away Thinlits dies, and the stamp set is called Lift Me Up. So you can actually use that stamp set to go with this designer paper because, as you can see, some of it has the hot air balloons in the mixture. And I did use a couple of these sheets so far. So let me flip this one over. There's 12 different patterns to pick from. So I'm going to do one card at a time and list the supplies I need for each card as we go. So the first card we're going to create will be this one. And we're going to use a crumb cake card base measuring 4 1/4 by 11, scored in the center at 5 1/2. Whisper white, 3 inches by 4 inches. And then we're going to need a piece of Blushing Bride and a piece of the designer paper that measures 3/4 by 4 inches. We're also going to need a scrap of Blushing Bride. And I've already cut the banner ahead of time, and we're just going to need a little piece here for the stamping to cut the second part of the banner. The punch you need is this one here, which is called the Duet Banner Punch, and it punches both of these layers, and I'll show you how to do that. For ink colors, we need Dapper Denim, Blushing Bride, and Watermelon Wonder. Now I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat with a scrap piece of paper for the stamping. And the first thing we're going to do is bring in the Blushing Bride cardstock piece with the dotted image. And we're going to use Watermelon Wonder ink for this stamping. And we're just going to fill in the cardstock with little dots. Very simple. So this piece is completed. Now we're going to bring in the Whisper White sheet with the large flower image, and that is actually stamped in the Dapper Denim ink. And we're going to stamp that right in the center. Okay. Now, it's really neat the way they colored the inside of that. They used the other flower image with the Blushing Bride ink. And you're just going to stamp that right over this one. And notice how that colors that in. Really cute. Now for the next step, we're going to do a little bit of changing things around when it comes to stamping the sentiment. Because this is just happy birthday, and this stamp actually says happy birthday wishes, we're not going to use the Dapper Denim ink pad. I'm actually going to bring in the Stampin' Write marker, and we're going to selectively color just the happy birthday portion. What you need to be careful of is to not get any of the color on the word wishes. So we're just going to lightly color this in. And I'm being very careful around the word wishes. Going to stamp that on the Blushing Bride. And as you can see, none of the wishes, the word wishes, came through. Now I'm going to bring in the punch. And as you can see, the punch has two pieces. We're going to punch the bottom one. So just going to center that. And I'm going to bring in my paper snips and just angle this close to the word on each side. And then we're going to add stamping dimensionals. And I just added 2 of them. And we'll bring the first one that I had pre-punched, and we're just going to layer that over. And make sure it's centered when you do so. Now see that how neat that looks? That makes it look like a 3D bow or a banner. It's really neat. So now that we have all of our pieces, we just need to glue everything down. So I'm going to bring in my bone folder and press my card base in half. And I'm going to start by gluing the Blushing Bride layer. And I'm leaving about 1/2 inch from the bottom. Push that one in place, and then we're going to add the designer paper layer. And I'm just going to overlap that by about 1/4 inch. Make sure it's nice and straight. And then we're going to take the flower image and flip it over. And I'm going to add a piece of tear and tape, if I can find the end. There it is. And don't worry if it's longer than what you need for the ribbon, because it'll just help to secure this down when we flip it over. I'm going to remove the backing. And then I'll bring my ribbon in and lay it down flat. And we're going to, oops, I got glue on my finger. We're going to even this out at the top. Press it in place. So now you have just a little bit of the ribbon that gives it enough shine and adds a wonderful layer to your card. So now all we have left to do is to glue this layer in place and then to add the banner. And this one is actually even with the other edge of the card. And that's how that lines up. And then, whoops, we just need to glue the banner in the center of your flower. Make sure the happy birthday is nice and straight. And there's card number 1. See how easy that was? So now let's move on to card number 2. So card number 2 is this one, and you're going to need a piece of Blushing Bride cardstock measuring 4 1/4 by 11, scored in the center at 5 1/2. a piece of Whisper White cardstock measuring 3 inches by 5.5. And this time we're going to use the gold ribbon. And I have a piece here measuring about 4¼ inches long. And to save a little bit of time, we're using vellum cardstock that measures 1.5 by 3¼ and I've already stamped the sentiment with Dapper Denim ink because I wanted to let it dry a bit so I wouldn't smudge it while creating the card. You're also again going to need tear and tape, and for ink colors this time we're using Pear Pizzazz, Blushing Bride, and Dapper Denim. So let's get creating on card number 2. Now for this one, we're actually going to be using the stamping off technique. And what that means is we're going to ink the stamp. This one is the stem. We're going to ink it once, but stamp twice. So I'm going to add the first stem about here, move over about 1 inch, a little bit lower, and stamp number 2. And see how much lighter that is? That's actually called stamping off. I'm going to bring in the Blushing Bride ink and do the same thing with the flower. Ink the stamp, stamp the first image, and then without re-inking, stamp the second image. And see how that gives you the light and dark ink color, and that's what we're looking for on this card. Dapper Denim, whoops, and this is the little center of the flower. Ink once, stamp twice, so 1, 2, and lastly the stem. Now this one we're going to add, whoops, I used the wrong color, hold on. This is Pear Pizzazz. This one we're going to stamp one of the petals first on the first flower. Ink again, stamp the second petal, do not re-ink, and add the third petal on the second flower. So now all that's left to do, this one is really quick, is again we're going to add a piece of tear and tape right on the edge. Oh, I didn't do a very good job there. Let me add another piece because I don't think there'll be enough there on the edge to grab the ribbon. So just a small piece on the edge. And I'm going to bring in the ribbon that I've pre-cut. And I'm going to actually center that right there. And now I'm going to bring in the card base. Again, use my bone folder to flatten out the card fold. We're going to add snail adhesive. And this one is even with the 3 sides of the card base. And then all we have left to do is to add the vellum cardstock layer, and I'm actually going to flag one end. So I'm going to snip this way to the center and then go from corner to corner. And in order for my adhesive not to show, I'm going to add adhesive directly over the sentiment. And then we'll add this to the card just like that. So there's card number 2 and card number 1, and those are both using the same stamp set from Sale-A-Bration. I hope you like my projects for today. I'll probably have another video in a few days featuring another product from Sale-A-Bration. If you have any questions, just make sure you send me a message either on this YouTube video, through email, or through my blog. And I hope to see you during Sale-A-Bration. Just remember, you get 1 product for free for every $50 you purchase. Thanks for stopping by.